when Bubba says, hey man, come over to the house, let's talk, I was just so desperate. I went over there and I said, Bubba, you're not filming this, are you?
Woo, y'all, this is a lot. But before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody, everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope y'all have had a wonderful week. I hope everybody is feeling good and doing great. So in today's video, wow, this is going to be, we're going to pivot a little bit. We usually have our Friday videos and our Friday topics and we talk about stuff, and we're going to talk about it in this one. But it's going to be in a little bit of a different direction. How many of you guys grew up knowing who Hulk Hogan is? Now, he's everywhere in the media right now, which is what brought up the conversation in my private life. My husband was telling me about this situation that happened, and I just couldn't believe it. And then so I started looking into it, and then I was talking to my friends about it. My friends who know all about Hulk Hogan, and even one of my friends who watched his reality show every single episode, and nobody seemed to know about this situation. So we are going to talk about it today. So I'm going to do like I typically try to do. I'm going to tell you guys the whole entire story from the best of my ability with the public information that is already out there. Okay, I'm not a professional. Go do your own research, form your own opinions. All this video is alleged because I wasn't there. But at the end of the video, and probably sprinkled within it because it's going to be hard to hold back, I'm going to be telling you guys my opinion. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Make delicious food a priority this summer by having fresh, quality ingredients delivered right to your front door. Just choose your meals and select the delivery date, and HelloFresh handles all of the meal planning, shopping, and most of the prep work, so all you have to do is open your box and get to cooking. One of the things that makes me feel so good in the evenings, especially after a long day, and hopefully a long day of having fun in the sun during the summertime, is cooking and feeding my family good quality meals that they love, that are good for them, that I know what the ingredients are that are in them, and that don't take too long. And that's why I would highly recommend you trying HelloFresh's quick and easy meals. Every week, HelloFresh features options that you can have ready in just 20 minutes or less, and that is even quicker than having delivery. Plus, delivery is very expensive. And you can get the party started or enjoy a little pre-dinner treat with an appetizer of your choice in every HelloFresh box for free. I have definitely found myself looking forward to the HelloFresh appetizers. Throw them in there, nibbling on them with me and my family while we're cooking our meals, maybe even arguing over who gets the last bite or who gets the most dipping sauce. If you want to try HelloFresh, well, now is your chance, because both new and repeat customers can go to HelloFresh.com and use my code APPSChristinaRandall, and you can get free appetizers for life. Yes, one free appetizer item per box while your subscription is active. That's Apps Christina Randall at HelloFresh.com, and you can save today. Thanks again, HelloFresh. So let's just start at the beginning. Hulk Hogan, for those of you guys that don't know and did not grow up with those stretchy dolls, you guys remember they had the blonde mustache and the red bandana, and you could stretch Hulk's arms and legs and all of that stuff. Anyways, Hulk Hogan, his real name is actually Terry Bollea, and he was born on August 11th of 1953 in Augusta, Georgia. His father, who went by the name of Peter, was an Italian man, and he was a construction foreman. His mother, her name was Ruth, and she was a homemaker, and she was a dance teacher. Hulk did have one older brother, and his name was Alan, and he unfortunately passed away back in the 80s to an OD. Now, when Hulk was just 1 year old, him and his family moved from Georgia down to Tampa, Florida. And this is where Hulk grew up playing as the pitcher in Little League Baseball, and he attended Robinson High School. when he was in high school, this is when Hulk ended up falling in love with wrestling and the idea of wrestling. It is said that he quite frequently ended up going to see like all these wrestling matches at the Tampa Sportatorium. His favorite wrestler back then was a man that went by the name of Dusty Rhodes. Now, one day, when Hulk was watching a match at the Tampa Sportatorium, this is when he first noticed the superstar Billy Graham, okay? He immediately became Hulk's inspiration. At this point, Hulk wanted to like imitate Billy's inhuman look. He also really enjoyed playing music. He spent a lot of years playing bass guitar in several local rock bands, and he went on later to attend community college at the University of South Florida. But all the music gigs that he was playing started to really get in the way of his studies, and so he did the thing that you did not do back then. He dropped out of college to go and chase his music dreams. Now, today, in this day and age of 2024, you know, it's not seen like that. You know, whether you go to college or not, you know, whatever. And if you're chasing your dreams, it seems more in your grasp. But back then, being a person that dropped out of college, which was like the bee's knees, everybody that was anybody went to college, which going to college and finishing college and going on and working your career is amazing. I definitely don't want to minimize that. But back then there was this tone of like, if you don't go to college and finish college, then you're not going to make it. And dang sure if you drop out of college to chase some sort of like artist dream or some music career, you want to be an actor, an actress, it wasn't the same vibe as it is nowadays. But by this point, it was 1976, and Hulk was playing in a band called Ruckus, which had actually become quite popular, like locally around him. While he was playing these shows and he had spare time, he would spend this spare time working out at a local gym called Hector's Gym, and this was in the Tampa Bay area. Many of the local wrestlers that lived in that area also went to this gym and they worked out too. And this is when they started to notice the young Hulk in there pumping iron and lifting weights. They came to like him, and they even started to like go around and listen to him play in his band. The Briscoe brothers, which was two brothers that actually like tag team wrestled locally in that area, they went on and they asked their trainer that worked for the Champions Wrestling from Florida if they would consider taking Hulk on as a trainee, because he already fell in love with wrestling, again, like I told you guys, all the way back in high school at this point. The trainer eventually agreed, and Hulk started his wrestling training right then and there. The rest was history, okay? Hulk Hogan had this like incredible, very, very successful wrestling career from then on, and he's been described as one of the largest attractions in professional wrestling history. Now, of course, with all successful careers of any kind, especially in the public eye, comes controversy. Now, without going through all of the controversies that Hulk has been through, and he's been through some of them, and he has done some ding-dong things over the years and said some things and all of that stuff, okay? We're going to focus on specifically one of them that I want to talk to you guys about today. Before we get there, though, let's talk about what's known about Hulk's personal life, because it actually does play a role in this video or this topic. So on December 18th of 1983, Hulk married his first wife, Linda. Hulk and Linda met in a restaurant in Los Angeles. Hulk and Linda fell in love. They got married. They went on to have 2 children together. They had a daughter named Brooke. She was born in 1988. And they had a son named Nick, who was born in 1990. Hulk and his family were featured in a reality show in 2005 on VH1. You guys remember that? Y'all remember VH1 way back then? That was a show I was telling y'all about that my friend watched. And this reality show was called Hogan Knows Best. It mostly showed like how the Hulk and his wife Linda raised their 2 children together. It talked a lot or showed like behind the scenes of their careers, and it showed like how he was a father and how they interacted together. And Brooke, their daughter, even had this pretty big moment of fame when she put out a song and she signed a contract for $1.3 million just after turning 18. And mind you, $1.3 million is a ton of money these days. It was even more money back then, and she just turned 18. I mean, it was a huge deal. Also on the show, Nick, his son, said that he wanted to become a professional wrestler just like his father. However, he actually went on to become a professional drifter for the car company Dodge, and he got his Formula D license in 2006. Now, everything seemed to be going just fine. People loved the show. They ate it up. But then in 2007, it was canceled. A lot of people had no idea exactly why the show just was canceled. It is said that the cancellation happened because of problems with Nick, their son, and because of problems with Hulk and Linda's marriage. Okay. But in 2007, Nick, their son, was involved in a really bad car crash where one of his friends was severely injured. Nick ended up being charged with felony reckless driving and underage drinking because of this accident. He was arrested, he was taken to jail, but he was immediately bailed out. As of 2022, you guys, literally just 2 years ago of me filming this video, and this happened way back in 2007, that friend of Nick's that was injured really bad in the car crash was still on life support with serious brain injuries all these years. Yeah, it was really bad. The Hogan family, however, did release a statement on how they were saddened that criminal charges had been brought against Nick, and how John, who was the friend that was injured, wasn't wearing a seatbelt, but that Nick was. So they're basically saying like Nick was wearing a seatbelt, that's why he wasn't injured like that, but John wasn't, and that's how he ended up like that. That's what it seemed to me like they were alluding to. However, the charges were not dropped, and their son Nick ended up pleading no contest, and he was sentenced to 8 months in jail. John, the friend, was actually an active duty Marine before this incident. Just super sad, super devastating. He was underage. I mean, just terrible, 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 terrible. That same year, Hulk allegedly cheated on his wife, Linda, with a friend of his daughter's. Okay, talk about the scandal of scandals. Okay, now I do want to say that this friend of his daughter's was 33 years old, allegedly, because when you say friend of daughters, you start thinking, but allegedly it was a 33-year-old friend of Hulk's daughter. And Hulk denied it. He said that this never ever happened. He did not have this affair. Regardless of what really happened, this is what ended up leading Linda, Hulk's wife, for filing for divorce after 24 years of marriage together. It is also said that Hulk only kept about 30% of their marital assets, and that totaled about $10 million in the divorce settlement. And Linda got everything else. Okay, so remember that. Hulk then went on to marry a woman named Jennifer in 2010, and then they got divorced in 2022. And then Hulk went on to marry this yoga instructor in 2023, and from what I can tell, they are still together to this day, and they seem to be very happy. And I see a lot of people online basically shaking their finger at him for being married 3 times. You guys, my grandma was married 5 times, okay? Twice to the same person. 1 time was a dare. I'm like, how do you get married on a dare? What was y'all doing, just willy-nilly? Like, she's like, yeah, me and my friend, we were both dared to marry these 2 guys, so we did. I'm like, okay. And now she's married to her husband she's been with for 40-something years, so, you know, whatever. But now let's talk about Hulk's controversy, specifically his lawsuit against the media company Gawker. Wait until y'all hear about this. So, in 2006, Hulk was videotaped doing it with a woman named Heather Clem. Heather was the wife of radio personality back then, Bubba the Love Sponge. Do y'all remember that? Bubba the Love Sponge. Yeah. Now, this Bubba the Love Sponge was Hulk's best friend. Okay. So Hulk was videotaped doing with his best friend's wife. People were gasping about that. However, Hulk considered Bubba the Love Sponge his best friend and Heather his friend, and they were just all really, really good friends. As a matter of fact, allegedly, on the day of the incident, the day of the incident that was videotaped that we're speaking about, he came over to his friend Bubba the Love Sponge's house, or Bubba's house, and he had just said that he had just stopped by their house to say hello. Hulk would later go on to say that he only slept with Heather because he had Bubba's blessing and encouragement. Hulk said that he was so burnt out by his upcoming divorce from Linda that he finally gave in to Heather's relentless advances towards him. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, please, come on. I mean, seriously. Okay, I finally gave in. She was just too much. I just couldn't help it. My friend gave me his blessing. But when you find out more, you find out he might just be telling the exact truth. See, Bubba the Love Sponge back then was this radio host, and he was very open, just talking about all kinds of stuff. Think a very tame Howard Stern in a way type of thing. And he talked very openly about having an open marriage with his wife, and that his wife would do whoever he said to do. So whatever type of marriage that is, that's the type that they had, okay? However, Hulk's obviously having issues, just stuff. And he's obviously probably got his ways about him too. He's going over to his friend's house. His friend's like, hey, buddy, listen. You need to take a load off. My wife is going to help you relax. Go on in the room or whatever, and she's going to take care of you type of thing. Now, Hulk says that he had no idea that he was being videotaped and that he definitely did not consent to any videotaping of this. In all actuality, Hulk and Heather had been filmed not once, but 3 times together while they were being intimate. However, it was not until October 4th of 2012 that Hulk, according to him, found out that he had been filmed. Guess how he found out that he had been filmed? Years later, when this editor named AJ from the media company Gawker published a 2-minute excerpt from the 30-minute long video, which included 10 seconds of him doing the do with his friend's wife, and wrote this long article describing in detail what was being said and done during this 30-minute long video. And let me tell you guys something. Them transcripts, they've been made public, but they are way too graphic to tell you guys about here, but just use your imagination, okay? They was talking. And they was talking very uncensored. We'll just say that. And yeah, okay. And so the whole transcripts was posted in these articles, along with that 10-second video clip of his booty doing the do. Then, after they're done doing the do and talking all the ways that they were talking that we can't talk about in this video, Hulk is sitting there with this woman, and he's talking to her about his family troubles. Again, he considered them his friends, and so he's done it with his wife, and now he's telling him about his family troubles and his kids, and he always worried about his kids. And then he slaps his belly, and he's like, I can't believe I ate this much today. I better go home. This is all in the article, okay? And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, maybe the husband doesn't really know what was going on. However, allegedly, Bubba can even be seen walking in and out of the room while things are going on. So his wife Heather's there with him, and Bubba's just walking in and out of the room, just doing whatever, grabbing a pencil, shooting some dice or whatever. And just to throw this little tidbit in there, Heather and Bubba are divorced now. They're not still together after whatever happened between them, but they're not married anymore. But Hulk originally sued Gawker, this media outlet, in the district court for copyright infringement and for emotional distress and for emotional harm. The judge, however, told the Hulk that given the degree to which the Hulk had been in the public eye, that the publication by Gawker was protected by fair use. Can you imagine? He was secretly recorded. The moral aspect about it, however you can judge it morally, how you want to judge it. We've all got our opinions about things. I mean, he ain't the first person to do what he's done, and they ain't the first, it is whatever. That part, consenting adults, that's your business, okay? Being recorded secretly and it being put all out on the internet, or being sold or whatever, that seems a little bit different in this intimate way. Seems different, right? So the judge tells him, nope, it's fair use. It's covered. Can't do nothing about it. So Hulk ends up withdrawing his case. He resubmits it through the Florida State Court. There, Hulk got a request for an injunction granted, which meant that Gawker, this media source, had to take the video down. However, get this. Gawker initially refused. They're like, no, we're not taking this video down. It's our video. Who cares? It is what it is. Later, Gawker did end up taking the video off of their website, but they linked readers to another site that had the video. So they're basically like, okay, if the judge is saying this because of the injunction, we'll take this secret recorded video of you off, but we're going to lead people to this article, and then we're just going to say, hey, click this link right here, and that's going to take you to the video, okay? Gawker ended up claiming that they got this video from an anonymous source, and because of that, it should be protected by the First Amendment. Bubba, this is it. This is his friend. This is Hulk's friend. Again, I want to reiterate, the moral aspect of this, that's for you to judge. Maybe this is your type of thing, and maybe it's not your type of thing. That's consenting adults, we got free will, that's their business, so morally you can judge that part. But the guy Bubba, that was his friend, allegedly said that he took that video, he turned it into a DVD, and he wrote Hogan on it, okay? Then he said that he threw it in a desk drawer somewhere. So he tried to make it seem like, in my opinion, that somebody stole the video from him, and that's how it anonymously got to this Gawker media source. However, in one of the videos, Bubba can literally be heard telling his wife, Heather, at the time, that they could use these tapes as blackmail against Hulk someday as their retirement plan. So again, you got Hulk over there, the moral aspect up for you to judge, whatever it is. They're secretly recording this man, keeping it on a DVD in a drawer, and saving it for blackmail as their retirement plan this day. Sounds a lot like a lot of these other people we've heard about, like Epstein, allegedly, I don't know, my unprofessional opinion, the Diddy situation, and many others. That's what this type of situation allegedly was going to be, okay? And he thought that was his friend, just giving him his wife so he could, relax. Bubba did end up making a statement, and he did confirm that Hulk was completely unaware of the video camera in the bedroom, which I think should be illegal. Heather also said in a deposition that she did not know that they were being filmed.
Do you have any idea before the encounter happened that it was going to be filmed?
No.
Do you recall the number of the encounters that you had with them?
To the best of my knowledge, I can think of 3 times that I remember.
That's very interesting, though, because Heather seemed to know in the tape of Bubba saying that they could use these as blackmail later down the road, although there was 3 different recordings, and so this was the 3rd one. And maybe when she said she didn't know that they were being recorded, maybe it's because it's a different tape. Semantics, in my opinion. But that was her story. So the case ended up going to trial. The trial took 2 weeks, okay? During this 2-week trial, Gawker argued that the Hulk actually made his intimate life a public matter when he talked about the size of the Hulk's you-know-what publicly, okay? But Hulk's attorneys made it clear that him describing the size of his thing didn't have any news value, and it was strictly referring to his character, like the Hulk, and not the actual person, Terry.
Dude, I got a size 15. I wear a size 15 ring on my wedding ring. Figure it out. 2/3 the size of your feet and your hands.
You're claiming to maybe have a 10-inch.
I'm not claiming those are facts, Jack.
As you sit in that witness stand today, that you were discussing the length of your on Bubba's radio program. Any doubt?
Well, it's not mine, because mine isn't that size, but we were discussing the length of Hulk Hogan's.
Seriously? So you
No,
were
seriously,
discussing-
I do not have a 10-inch. No, I do not, seriously.
Okay, fair enough. So what you're telling us is you were discussing
Believe that,
Hulk Hogan's,
seriously.
right?
Excuse me?
You were discussing Hulk Hogan's.
Yeah, because Terry Delay's is not 10 inches like you're trying to say. All I did was call Bubba up, and I was just crying like a baby on the phone to him. I just broke down. When Bubba says, hey man, come over to the house, let's talk, I was just so desperate. I went over there, and I said, Bubba, you're not filming this, are you? And he just flashed into me. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm your effing best friend. How dare you say that to me? When they confirmed that Bubba was on the tape, and Bubba went up and turned the camera off, and Bubba told Heather that this is for our retirement, Heather, I just started violently shaking.
You got to think about how embarrassing. Not saying that he didn't deserve it, okay? Definitely not saying that. But you got to think about, you're literally up there testifying in court. If you've never been in a courtroom and been on a stand as a witness or a plaintiff or the defendant, then you may not know that you got all these lights on you and the courtroom is quiet except for the one person that's talking and everybody's staring at you, and he's up there listening to these recordings of him alluding to the size of his... Embarrassing. And then later, in March of 2016, the jury went out and they deliberated in a room, and they came back and they sided in favor with the Hulk, which I just can't even believe that this went on like this, you guys. They awarded this man $115 million in compensation damages, which included $60 million for emotional distress, y'all. Talk about a flip-flopping win. They also awarded the Hulk an additional $25 million in punitive damages. When I heard that amount of money, I said, oh my gosh. The jurors did later come out and spoke to the media a bit after the trial.
In effect, they broke the law, though. In
did.
Florida,
Exactly.
they broke the law.
There's absolutely no doubt
No.
that the decision we make was absolutely correct.
You believe that he was emotionally distressed by it?
If we were all in the same circumstances, how would we feel about it? And emotionally, we would have all been pretty devastated.
He's still a human being, just like everyone else. Did any of you think that he might have been behind that tape?
Even if he knew he was being recorded, there's still no right to put that out there if he doesn't want it put out.
And I also saw an interview with the Hulk where he was talking about how he didn't even hear the amount of money that he had won at first because he was just so focused on being thankful that he won the lawsuit and that everything was going to have to legally come down, and that hopefully the media company would not do this to other people, and Gawker later filed a motion stating that they could not afford to pay, which I bet they couldn't. I mean, hello, that is a ton of money. So they ended up filing for bankruptcy later that same year. However, Gawker and the Hulk eventually got together and they had a settlement. They settled on paying the Hulk $31 million. Listen. They settled on paying him $31 million, and they agreed to take everything down, even the article about the Hulk, which $31 million is still a ton of money. I'm not saying that it's equal to what he went through or any of that. I'm just saying, like, holy cow. After the trial, it came out that a billionaire named Peter Thiel, who was actually a co-founder of PayPal, he ended up putting in $10 million to help finance lawsuits against this media source Gawker, which included the Hulk's lawsuit. Allegedly, back in 2007, this media company, Gawker, published an article that outed Peter as gay when he did not want that information out there. Here is part of an interview that Peter gave explaining why he helped pay for the lawsuits.
Do you believe you've set a dangerous precedent in secretly suing Gawker in connection with its publication of the Hulk Hogan video?
I don't think so. Let's start with the facts of the case. It involved a sex tape. If you make a sex tape without their permission, we were told now, you are a journalist. I would submit that as an insult to all journalists. This is not about the First Amendment. It is about the most egregious violation of privacy imaginable, publishing a tape surreptitiously filmed in the privacy of someone's bedroom. and to hide behind the First Amendment, behind journalism, that is an insult. That is an insult to journalists.
Now, I was wondering, like, what did the ex-wife think? You got to imagine, like, you're married to this man for 24 years. I'm sure there was things that happened behind the scenes between both of them. I'm sure they both have their ways about them, okay? When you watch a show, you can see little things here and there, whatever. You think, too, like, the Hulk was probably telling his wife at points and that, hey, I'm going to go over and talk to my friend, and he's there with his wife. Most people, they're not thinking anything. They're definitely not thinking that the best friend is going to have the wife do that. You know what I mean? So I wanted to know what she thought.
I don't know how he can sleep at night knowing that he's got the money for doing what he did.
Do you think
to get that money in a roundabout way?
Do you look at it as blood money?
I do. It's like, it's dirty money.
When the jury came back with a verdict of $115 million, what was your reaction?
My phone started blowing up and people were like, Hulk won $115 million. And I was like, what? I thought it's kind of representing saying to the public that he's being rewarded for bad behavior.
In the end, it's really crazy to think that someone that's in the public eye can be filmed like that, allegedly without their consent or their knowledge of them doing it, and just have the video posted publicly. In some places, they was going to let them get away with it. Like the first situation, they were going to say, well, it's fair use, which how can it be fair use if it was filmed even without the person knowing or without the permission of it being out there? And I think that it should be illegal to film somebody without them knowing. You guys, there are so many things right now about like Airbnbs and secret cameras being found in Airbnbs. And you're talking about every room of a home or an apartment or a condo, in the bathrooms. And you think a lot of us, we go on vacation with our families, with our little ones that go into the bathroom and change and all of that stuff. And I think if those types of things are found and they find these cameras, I think people should literally be arrested for that. It is such an invasion of privacy. If these were two consenting adults and they did what they did, that's their business. They got to deal with it. That is what it is. But secretly filming somebody, that's what I think. I think they set him up from the very beginning. I think that, and this is my personal, unprofessional opinion, I think the guy Bubba, who was pretending to be the Hulk's friend, because when you watch the Hulk, he's real softy, it seems like, in a lot of ways, right? I think the guy Bubba saw him being weak and all the things he was going through, made him feel comfortable, put his wife on him, and he obliged. He took it, he accepted the gift, and they set him up to record him, and the whole thing was planned out in order to have it as a retirement plan. That's crazy to me, y'all. That's sick. And I think whoever records somebody like, they should be arrested too. That's nuts. Crazy. But he did end up getting $31 million out of it. That's a lot. And originally awarded closer to $200 million. That is a lot of money. What do y'all think? Have y'all heard about this? The Hulk has got a lot of drama. There's so much surrounding him. But this one, that was a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I hope y'all get outside. I hope y'all get to spend time with your family. I hope even if you just sit on your porch, listen to the birds, drink you a nice ice cold water, and just relax. I hope y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.